heard the bleep bloop, and I was like, what happened? What happened? But I don't have any notifications, so I don't know. Well, hello? How are you guys doing? Good, it loaded. I'm now worried that all my tech is falling apart. How are you guys doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Hope the start of your week has been going great. We are gathered here today to celebrate the prepping of dungeons and, well, Pathfinders are. But we're mostly doing mapping today. We're filling out our lazy GM-ish sheet. And yeah. I'm very enjoying this season 3 campaign so far. So, it's been going great. I've been loving the story beats we're hitting on. How's the music? It's a little loud. We'll notch it on down a little bit. Yeah. So, I'm excited to get into that. I'm probably not going to babble too much. We're gonna go over the recap here while Dungeon Draft loads on in, and we're gonna hope that the bleep bloops I heard aren't anything. You know, I'm gonna hope that's not relevant. So yeah. Anyway, is this Dungeon Draft update, and I'm excited to download it, but I gotta like finish and run this map first, and then maybe I don't know. We're in a phase of rapid hits with new maps, so I'm not totally sure exactly how that's gonna go. But anyway, I have too many windows open, man. Streaming takes too many windows. This map is completely irrelevant. We're gonna jump on back. Rutell in here. So, last we spoke, well, last Wednesday anyway, the party had just, what's the short version of the recap? I always struggle with how much context to give. One of the lieutenants of the enemy force of the Void has torn a hole in the sky, torn a hole in the veil that protects this world that the campaign takes place on, that hides it from the other forces in space, in the multiverse, in the whatever you want to call it, in this campaign world. And this hole that this lieutenant has punched in the sky is allowing more reinforcements to enter. There is some like purple lights that are shining in the sky, and the last time the party saw this, the horse that the Seraph rode in. That's what that light was a tower, a structure that the party did not recognize descending out of the sky over the course of a couple of days, making the transit through the hole that was previously punched. So this is a more temporary lip, a more temporary hole that is punched in the sky by this dragon, which, by the way, is the first dragon to exist on this world. And the party is scrambling to find a way to stop that or to fight back. So they're heading finally towards this mystical flying castle that has been heard of in folklore, a secret lost to history called the Arx Sistinium, which happens to be the horse that the Four rode in on, the gods that have kind of like colonized and taken over this world for the last 10,000 years. So the party is going to find that in hopes that it has a way to fight back. Kind of does. It's a flying castle. It's a flying fortress. It's the sustaining keep. It is the last fortress of the Four. So it has some tricks up its sleeves. It's not a warship necessarily, but it is. It's got some tricks. It has a local super weapon that can take out aberrations, which is relevant here. It's a one-shot device. So they have to kind of like pick, they're basically only going to be able to use this once in the campaign unless they come up with some way to recharge it. That'll be its own quest if they want to do that, and that will be to like bring us on to the end of the campaign. That'll be much later. So So the party is venturing to find the Ark's Sustanium. On the way, they found... Rather, Steris knew that one of her vengeance site targets was on the way. She's on a little bit of a quest for vengeance against these mercenaries who slew her family, her adopted family. And in a very interesting bit of timing, Steris had a conversation, not on stream, it was in chat, with her patron, who is the creature that has provided Steris with this vengeance sight, this ability to see targets that have wronged her but have thus far gone unpunished in the distance, no matter how far, and to know like the exact direction and distance that they are. So they ventured here to this farmland that is on the way to the Arks to find this fellow, this Ander Aldazan. Alda something. I don't know how to... It's not quite a... It's a bit off. It's a bit off from the other local names, but it's fine. So, they approached this fellow's house. Steris was getting kind of like wound up. You know, tension was rising. And then this fellow opened the door, looked very surprised. And he said... He recognized Steris. He was like, "Oh, you're Steris. Oh, you're here to kill me." And then there was like a moment that passed. And he was like, "Well, that's no reason to be a bad host. Come on in and I'll put on a pot." Basically, this fellow did not kill any of the sisters. Kind of like got knocked out early in the fight, realized that one of the sisters spared his life, which is not what he expected of this nest of monsters that they were sent to kill. And he realized that he'd made a terrible mistake. So he came back to town. He tried to find... He found out that one of the sisters was alive. He tried to find Steris. Could not. Eventually just, like, went back home after learning about the sisters and realizing... Like, learning kind of, like, exactly what had... Trying to learn exactly what had gone down there. So. Steris had a bit of a crisis of, I don't know if it's conscience. I don't know. It doesn't seem like Steris is ready to kill this guy yet, perhaps. Steris seems to be having second thoughts after a conversation with this, with her patron, who said something along the lines of like, this gift that I've given you is a trial. It's gift and trial in one, and it will enhance your rage. It is meant to let my greatest warriors track down our greatest enemies. But it is also a trial. It will try to... Like, it uses your rage as a weapon to find these people, as a compass. And to do that, it has to hone your rage. So, good luck. Good luck with that. Sharpened, honed rage. That's kind of what he said. So I think Steris is having second thoughts. I don't know if I'm projecting. If Steris does have second thoughts, there's going to be... every time Steris has run into one of these targets, this voice in the back of Steris' head has been like, "This weapon has blood of innocence on it. This person is scum. You have to get rid of them, blah, blah, blah." And I don't know if it's like too much. I don't know if it's too much of a stretch. But Steris had assumed that it was the patron saying these things. And I might twist it and make it so it's like Steris' own voice. Like Steris recognizes that now. Perhaps. We'll see. Anyway, short version with Ander's story. He was part of like the military force in Rudel. Got injured in a way that meant he couldn't like march and sleep in the wilds for months on end. So we went to go find like mercenary work, and at first it was just like protecting random dwarf villages down in Serosa from like owlbears and stuff. And then got into this job with this character, Devram Lewis, who is like the head of this mercenary group that killed Steris' family. Who's like a war hero down there, basically. So we're going to go over a bit of that in the next session. But their conversation got interrupted by some moonflowers getting thrown down by the moon. And the party's like, oh, I think we're gonna have to go to the moon. Which is excellent, because one of the characters wants to free the moon deity, who is currently quite corrupted by the void, as the satellite object that is a little more vulnerable to probing and prodding from outside the veil. So that's where we are. We just finished that combat. There was like crit, 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 and the combat ended very quickly. Well, not very quickly. Yeah, it ended in like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So, yeah. We also went over a bit of a recap. Everyone's like stars and wishes from the last section. I don't know if we need to go over that here necessarily, but I'd recommend it if you're a GM. Get some stars and wishes from your players. Maybe like every once in a while in the campaign, I'm doing it between every arc. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. So my combats have been a bit easy. That's one I'll talk about. Folks were like, we like that there's room to fuck around in the combats, but also they're maybe a bit too easy, which is, I need to like crank it up a little bit more. I've got 5 players and I'm kind of using, I need to crank it up a little bit. I need to push the difficulty a little higher than the average. Even though the combats aren't short, typically they get quite long, but they don't really press the players. Like basically the monsters could use their damage more effectively. I think I can play a little smarter and focus people down a little more and not have every monster like fuck around with attacks of opportunity and stuff. It's a little tricky when one has reach. It's hard for a creature to get away from someone with reach who is like intentionally getting up to melee. But I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if I can figure out good ways to do that. Let's see. Moto's wishes were that like some of the characters had more stuff to chase in the world, more objectives in the world. There's good party cohesion stuff in the stars and wishes. Let's see. Virecti wants more stuff to do and chase in the world as well. Would like more, he's a dungeon as his ancestry type, so he would like more dungeon delving, but loving the main story, but would love to be able to squeeze in more dungeon delving, which I think is going to be able, they're going to be able to do when they have a flying castle. So, feeling out doing more in the world, maybe wants to lean into crafting more, fun to try, really. Trying to rally local nobility to like the banner of Einkrad. I think he's trying to do I kind of think he's trying to do not an Avengers thing, but that idea of like kind of a UN, kind of a NATO, like world defense group. I think that is like, yeah, they have their local politics, but not when Einkrad calls, but they can work together under this one banner. And have this intermediary that helps sort things out when big threats arise. Which, A, is cool, B, can't be... Like, if we continue to play in this world, we can't just have the Einkrad Avengers saving the world all the time, so I'll need a reason why that isn't happening as well. Let's see. Connor likes that some of the combats have been harder and likes being pushed out of his comfort zones in combat. Likes that creative solutions are encouraged often. He wants Scene to have some hard decisions to engage with, which is interesting. That's like a for both of us to work on thing for sure. That's how he framed it, because his character is like kind of aside a lot of the tension and drama and stuff in the world. So I'm gonna try to. One of the things I'm doing with that is I'm just trying to highlight like the plight of the regular folk, the regular people in the world, because he engages with that often. So maybe some like hard decisions around that. Had the expedient decision be something that like screws regular people a little bit. So he might lean toward like, no, we can't just do the easy thing. We can't just do the expedient thing, Isha. Because Isha definitely will take the expedient thing. As we've already seen, Isha is happy to like piss off the rest of the party to do the expedient action. The thing that gets them the most benefit for the bigger picture. So I can use that as a lever for tension. So that's cool. Oh yeah, okay. So let's set up our notes for session season 3, episode 3. And it is correctly getting the right date. That's super pog. Okay. We're gonna copy character review stuff. I'm still gonna put off writing anything for Steris because we are actively, my head is so tuned in on what we're doing with Steris right now already that I'm just gonna avoid it a little bit. Isha and Bait, we gotta think of things to highlight big events in Temel while the party is in Rudel. Cool. Open on. Aftermath of the Moonflower Fall. I'm a little sad that the big smashy Moonflower fight went so quickly and was so easy. I really wanted... We might bring the Moonflowers back in another fight soon. They are lower level than the party now, but I don't know. It was just a bit easy, so we might try something there. Anyway. So this is an interesting thing to open on. I don't have any notes for this scene. My notes here last time were like Moonflower's attack. Hello, Aki. It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. How about you? I forgot I was gonna fix... I saw your chat message and I was like, I forgot I was gonna fix my combined stream chat because it's not combined right now. It's just Twitch. So I was gonna go fix that. I think YouTube shows up in my restream chat, I think. Anyway, I'm not gonna worry about it. Not gonna worry about it too much, but it's going well. It's going well. We are working on some GM prep stuff. I popped back into Path of Exile and got 2 challenges done, so I'm trying to do that a little bit before the Path of Exile 1 League ends. I have not played much Path of Exile 2, and I'm getting sucked into Deadlock. Getting sucked into Deadlock a little bit. Playing a lot of Arc Raiders. Gonna be playing a lot of WoW in March, so I might just entirely skip the next Path of Exile 1 League. I want to get back into Final Fantasy XIV, because I haven't played since the first patch of this expansion, and I've heard the follow-up patches were good, and I love that game. And I'm trying to do just so much music stuff. Someone just saved me from my day job. I love my day job even, but I need more time. I need more time. As much as I love my job, if I could work on and talk about tabletop RPG stuff all the time and play video games all the rest of the time, I would be very happy. Okay, so like I said, I don't have any notes about the attack other than the attack happens last time. So I had a premonition that we were going to end the session with the Moonflower attack. So so we'll open on folks immediately patching up the village. Yeah. Repairing roofs, etc. Andrew quickly finds his sister. And this, like, town watch, what do I call him? They kind of clamped on this town's watch Catalan guy caught their notice quite heavily. So we'll have him, like, approach the party and start talking to them. Cool. We'll start to thank them. Looks like a tower defense here. Yeah, you know, we're a few zombies short of Plants vs. Zombies, but it was definitely like it was a little bit like that. It was a little bit like that in this case. We had a couple of lanes of combat for sure. I think he'll remark on the Sorosan accents. Ask if Turkan is a Sorosan Minotaur. Follower of Escal. Have any important fights had phases, so they let their guard down? I have had a couple of phased fights for sure, especially since there's like 5 folks. I've been leaning into like having hazards mixed in with boss fights and stuff. So we'll have like phases where things get turned on. It's a little scary to do phased things at like, I've been doing them at 50%, which, and like battle waves, that's definitely also a good trick. If I had more time, I would have phased this a little bit more, but we didn't have a ton of time. I was trying to get this fight done in less than like 40 minutes or so. But you see I had this extra flower here to like copy and paste more flowers in if I wanted. Because like the villagers did technically kill one of the flowers entirely on their own. So I had an extra flower to move in. If you're ever worried that a fight might be too much, you can like get rid of one of the guys and then bring him in as a reinforcement later. And that does change up the fight quite a bit. Especially if like the party will tend to Nova some of the other things. So if you have like a pretty good beefy fighter come in like a second wave after like 2 rounds, like fresh, they'll get to focus on that fighter more, but that fighter will not be as debilitated by debuffs and big attacks. So definitely a good trick. I've definitely done it before. I don't know if I've done it much this campaign. It's definitely happened a couple of times, and it should have happened here. I should have one of the flowers walk in, but we had some stuff to do toward the end of last session. So yeah, this guy's gonna remark on the Sorosan accent. Ask if Turkan is a Sorosan Minotaur follower of Vesgal. This guy will have spent some time learning with, basically spend some time with one of the, I don't know if I want to call him a tribe necessarily. We'll just say village. They walk around, they move around, the villages move around, but I think village is still accurate. Or, what do you call it? I can't remember the name. Societies that, like, Mongolian or, like, Inuit societies that move around a lot. And don't put villages down in one place. You know what I'm talking about. I think, by the way, we might actually not open on this scene. Open on? Let's see. Isha... Some of the things Isha has seen on the boat. Basically, like, series of Isha scenes. Arriving at... I know I had a name for the capital. I think I already forgot it, dude. When did I say the name of the capital? Jesus. I think I didn't write it down, and I'm not going to remember which episode I said it in. Oh, that could be really bad. Maybe I did write it down. We'll see. Arriving at the capital. On the journey, let's see. I'm gonna have to improvise a thing there because I don't know if they're arriving at the capital through the front door or if they're going up the river and taking the back way in. But as they're sliding up, Isha, the queen took almost a full day to recover from whatever substance was keeping her under in that machine. A tree-like machine. Afterward, she spent a great deal of time quietly staring at the 4 violet lights in the sky. Wasn't the only troubling scene. That's not how you spell scene. Scene of auction has broken my brain. She would witness. As you were passing that barricaded port town. Rather, that port town that you had seen, you know. We'll leave it there, it's fine. No idea what you're thinking of. As I was distracted, some type of... Nomads, nomadic. Nomadic is the... Yes. They're a nomadic society. And yeah, I don't know if you call nomadic groups, like the units that they move around in, I don't know if you call that a village? I don't know what you call it. I don't know. They probably all call it different things. They probably don't call it a tribe. Let's see. So you saw that it was even more barricaded. This time, bodies of those familiar eel creatures littered some of the docks. One of the boats. Familiar boat, actually? Well, no. That would still be getting... The expedition boat is still probably being repaired. I was gonna say I don't know. I was gonna say they were like pouring mines into the water, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe? We'll see. We'll see. Good job, Nightbot. I don't know. I'll think on this a little bit more. See if I even want to highlight this. But, at any rate. Maybe around day 4. Well, you know. Yeah. The queen thanked you for saving her again. But spent much of the journey quiet. Troubled. Let's see. And wherever they are going, Tan's an unfamiliar figure. Tan's is waiting, milling around. Then spots you, Isha, and begins approaching. Either in front of the castle, or just straight up in the escape tunnel of the castle. I need to think on these lines a little bit. Figure out exactly what he wants to say. But basically, I was tasked to deliver this to you. Something to you. I don't know. Let's see. I was told to follow the light. I was not told that it would meander all over this God's damned continent. He pulls out Well, it looks like a palm-sized glowing ember. Well, pulls out a bundle of cloth and opens it to reveal. Looks like a palm-sized glowing ember. Came with a message. We both know. Let's see. Something along the lines of, we both know you'd burn to ash. I had a great way to put this in my head, and I'm going to try to get back to that idea later. But something along the lines of, we both know you'd burn to ash if you became the sun. Try to reclaim your former glory right now. But it's long past time I returned this spark to you. Reignited the world once. Let's see. Perhaps I can start to reignite that flame. Just as it reignited this world once. Where'd that? Okay, great. I definitely had a more succinct way to put all this before. I'm going to try to get back there, so I'm just roughing this out, and then I'll come look at this like tomorrow before session. Tonight on a dog block, I don't know. Those times when poetry flows forth a little more readily. Let's see. And then signing this message with something like, I pledge to you my fire. when it is needed. Okay, so that's where we'll probably actually open up. Big ol' long thing. Okay, and then we have the rest of Andrew's stuff. Oh, that's apparently all just been in my head. Let's see. Stairs and Ander Part 2. I need a name of the nation south of Sarosa. What? Restream is a great service. No notes, no complaints. It said it disconnected from Twitch, which appears not to be the case. But it says it, and it's freaking me out. Okay. So. I'll ask if the party knows their military history. Their recent military history? I don't know. Particularly Sarosan. Oops, too many. Kevram Lewis. And his mercenary company grew very quickly. Shit. Gevram definitely knows knows Stara. Steris's like mother figure. Sorry, just brain blasts. Very quickly, during the war with someone. I'll come up with a name later. Southern continent country. Was a pivotal figure in that war. Turning a conflict where Sarosa was on the back foot into one where they took territory. Gained concessions from southern continent country. But there were strange rumors about some of some of his victories. One in particular, where he broke a siege and held a fort outnumbered 10-1. Something like that. Now, shocking military victories happen with regular frequency. It happen regularly. It happen often enough. Especially with a good defensive position. The weird thing is, no one... let's see. Yeah. Zelda and Jazz 3? Hell yeah. Hope you guys like jazz. So the weird thing is, hello. How you doing? Welcome on in. Let's see. What are you making? Right now I'm filling out our session sheet. I don't know if you're familiar with the steps of the lazy dungeon master, but I'm turning that into a bit of a... I'm definitely not a lazy dungeon master in those, in that minimalist sense, but I use the sheet as kind of an outline, and it works pretty well for me. So we're outlining some scenes that may or may not happen. Well, so far we're on the scenes that I know will happen, but yeah. So I'm just like doing some lore babbling to hint at some stuff in the game. So, mostly session notes right now, but also a little bit of like lore and noodling. And then after that, we're gonna work on a map. We're gonna work on this here map. This here castle that we've got a couple of levels started for. Floating castle, flying castle. So yeah, lazy is good. If you think of making things easier, it's good for sure. I try to streamline my prep in this way, do this outlining stuff, so that I have time to make custom maps and do silly things, silly amounts of detail elsewhere. Let's see. So, right now we're talking about getting some information together for the party to find from a secondhand source. Building up some lore about one of the bigger bads in the campaign. This is probably going to be the strongest mortal opponent that they will have, is this fellow that we're talking about right now. Let's see. The weird thing is, there's no official record of how it happened, the strategy used. So right now, this Gevram Lewis fellow talking about how he had an astonishing victory holding a fort in like a situation where they were outnumbered 10-1. And it happened under mysterious circumstances. So, no official record of how it happened, the strategy used, anything like that. Rumors abound, but they all seem to conflict. A snack of tavern tales and stolen valor. Now, how does something like that happen? And none of Gevrum's own men say anything. Spread any stories, anything like that. No connecting thread has emerged. Let's see. So, but he never really became a hero. Never really known to the public. He wasn't in it for the glory. Like some folks are. Even over here. Let's see. You hear stories like this. Or you hear stories about figures like this. Like Brass or blah, 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 blah. If you take notes on what you question, if you take notes, what do you focus on? Any tips? Like during the session or prepping for the session? Because my notes during the session are typically bad. Typically very, very bad. So on that line, I don't have great advice on a GM perspective. My notes as a player are a little bit better. I kind of like take notes on just what was of interest to my character. I don't know how to talk about Sonus, but let's see. It's so funny to just call him Sonus of the Midwest. Gevrum stayed. Gevrum seemed to do his best. To keep his name away from his victories. Out of the broadsheets. Okay. During the session, because I never take notes to begin with, yeah, tell me about it. I suck at that. You don't really need... If my players talk about something that they're going to do off camera or something that they're going to do outside of the group or anything like that, I take notes on that. I take notes on if they ask like NPCs to do something that needs to be followed up on. Those I always take like very immediate notes on. I take notes. I'll just jot down names if I say a name out loud, if I say a proper noun out loud that's not written down somewhere yet, I will just jot it down in my notes. In Obsidian, it's very nice in particular because I could just do stuff like, you know, I can like do a double box bracket around a name like this. And then I could just like click on it and it makes a new document for me. And if you have templates set up, it's even more helpful. Like this comes with all the metadata already. So like doing that very much for proper nouns that are a big deal. Like I have that up here for Mr. Gavram Lewis. I don't think I have it filled out at all, but it's here. So that's a very easy way to like link things between sessions, and then I can like click on this and I can see which where it's like noted. So love Obsidian. My biggest recommendation is to use a good note-taking app where you can do stuff like this and like link see where proper nouns are linked to and from. But yeah, taking note on proper nouns, taking note on stuff the players are doing or want done outside of the session, stuff that the players pay special attention to and ask a lot of questions about and seem very curious about. That's a cool thing to take notes on. Yeah. Information that they find that you have made up, write that down quickly. Write that down while it's in your head. Yeah, everyone's bad at taking notes while they're jamming, though. It's so hard to take good detailed notes while you're running the game. A little easier if you take like Spark notes, and then like go back and fill out your notes afterward. Like just scratch quick things down, and then go back to your notes afterward and like fill things out. Other problem, I'm a manual man in a digital world. I'm a gardener, I hack bushes, not the internet. That's fair. That's fair. If you're taking notes on paper, I don't have great advice because I don't do that. Other than this idea of scratching down quick notes while you're in the session and then filling them out immediately after, like spending 20, 30 minutes reformatting your notes, writing out kind of a synopsis of what happened and filling in details then. Clearly, I don't do that very often. Like you're caught in 4K and well, 1080p. Not having done that in my last session, so you know. The other thing I'll say, Obsidian's, you can get very into Obsidian, but you can also just use it to type stuff down, and this linking stuff doesn't take any like customization or anything. You just kind of do it, and you don't have to like set this part up at all. So that's digital tool, but it's not super complex if you were interested in that kind of thing. Let's see. One in particular. Yeah, okay. This isn't like in character voice, and I'm not going to rewrite it for that. I'm just going to try to improv that as we go. Anyway, so that's kind of the big thing that Andrew still has left to share. And then we have this from last time that we didn't quite use yet about finding the arcs, so we're going to do that. I now have to decide if that... I've mentioned the Amber and Ash mercenary group. I guess I have to put it in here. I guess we will do that. So we'll have a scene about that. They'll have a little camp outside. Maybe down the mountain, I'm not sure. Amber and Ash camp. I don't have a whole lot of notes to write down about this just yet. More tents than people. They've lost some people already. Not very hidden. there's going to be a lot of improving there, but they're going to run into this camp of folks who were sent here to investigate the arcs. They have seemingly found the location, but have no idea how to get in, and they are being thrown brute force at it. Unrelated. Why are there more tents than people? Some people be dead. They said there's a bit of a maze outside of this castle that they're trying to get into, and the maze has taken some lives. The ghosts in the maze have taken some lives. So, do they expect more other people to come? They had. They had expected more people to come back. Let's see. So I'll probably improv a lot of that conversation. Amber and Ash is not a very serious mercenary group. And they're not going to be very good archaeologists. They're just kind of the people. Well, one of the lines is going to be like, tell Martel. Tell Martel the job's off. Weren't hired to get pushed around by ghosts. All right, so then we have a bunch of secrets and clues. We'll go over these real quick from last session and see what is still relevant. We're going to leave the vague ones about a level change and what still remains and something went wrong. Vezgal's wardens defended this area fiercely once, especially against the four when they arrived. We'll leave that one in here. Oh yeah, some odd sailors came looking for long. Yeah. This is still relevant. I might just give this out as information, but folks created by the four actually existed before the four arrived. Group hired by the Ordines is also looking for the arcs. I think I gave that out. Yeah. I could delete this. I could delete that one. There's a taboo area where an ancient creature lurks, a rumor about how to negotiate with it if you stumble into its lair. Yeah, still relevant. Evil Eye's in charge of the Moonflower Garden. One of the fortresses, something. Yeah, basically when they try to get information about who's leading something, they'll find out that an Evil Eye, a beholder, is one of those important figures. This is an important one, but I don't know what I'm going to give out, but that's part of the point. That the parent, the progenitor of the Seraph, does not actually care about the outcome of the Seraph's hunt, and the familial relationship of void creatures is different than those that you are familiar with. And they don't super care if the Seraph fails. Just because they're helping the Seraph does not mean they are invested. And then if the Seraph gains control of the leyline nexuses, he can usurp the four as the prime deity of the world. I think I kind of gave this for free already, but... that one I should probably delete. We'll see. Okay. I should just delete this one. They're close enough. And it's in my head enough that we can get rid of it. If they start asking about if any strange groups have come through, first they'll talk probably about the odd sailors. And then they will talk about the Amber and Ash crew. So, what do I want to highlight here? We have a ton of huge, big secrets and clues, which makes sense. We're in some huge, big storyline moments. We already have some stuff here. Where... We already have some stuff about the Four's arrival, but we're in a unique place to get some old lore about the gods, about the Four. So what doesn't the party know about the Four yet? I will directly be espousing that it's sort of Isha's fault that the Four are here. So we don't need that as a secret or clue, because that's already quite coupled to a specific spot. That might be another one I need to dream about and think about on my own a little bit. As much of a cop-out as it is to be like, I'll do this offline. I'll do the hardest part away from all of you. Other question, how much of the lore knows the public? Not everybody is a scholar in the first place. Yeah. So in this world in particular, maybe not in particular, but in this world, there's a lot that the general public does not know. The players in this game are already much more aware of some of the old lore and the way the current world was made than 98% of the population of the world. Which happens very quickly, I feel. In a game where the party ends up like looking around, trying to investigate things, trying to find out things. But they are privy to some privileged information. So, like, you can always you can cut things into ages a little bit and just be like, you know, people know the general history of the world for the last 2,000 years. For the last 1,000 years, it's pretty accurate. For the 1,000 years beyond that, it's like 50% wrong. For the age before that, like 10% of the people are 50% wrong, and 90% of the people know nothing. And you can kind of have that, like, the march of time, the great eraser. Kind of like obfuscate things in the past. And things pretty quickly on the scale, when you're talking about thousands of years. It's like pretty good for a while, and then like falls off a cliff very quickly after that. It's like exponentially worse over time. At least this is not a clusterfuck of history like in the Elder Scrolls timeline. Yeah, I don't know very much about the Elder Scrolls timeline in general, but like on this channel, when I've played like Tears of the Kingdom and stuff, talking about the Zelda timeline and how fucking confusing the games are, and how what happens in one game is not literally true necessarily. Like the games contradict each other. So that makes it very hard to piece together like a history. So yeah. Number 6, something about the 4. Something there. Let's see. I'm doing pretty well. Doing pretty well, Gabby. How about you? Thank you for stopping on by and saying hello. I think I'm gonna have something here. Let's see. The party, most of the players know this, but the party does not necessarily know that the 4 came here not just to hide, but to build an army. Because the Void and the Seraph are particularly potent against their current army. Zelda timeline is a fucking joke. I hate it so much. Love the games that timeline makes no sense in any world. Yeah. Yeah. There's like... I like it and I hate it at the same time because there's so much stuff that's like... You have to take the rhyming parts as they are and line those up and then understand that the specifics, like the vagaries, are similar enough that you can piece things together, but once you drill down to a certain point, it stops making sense because, like, the characters who participate in the Sealing War, which is like very clearly it's supposed to be like Link to the Past era, but the characters that participated in that are goats now. Right? Like, it's like so cool that these games are connected, but that connection is not made of string, it's made of a wormhole. And it's like so bendy. Or like melting Play-Doh. The only timeline I like is Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Train Tracks. That's fine. Beyond that, it's on fire. Right. There are some games that are clearly like linked together very nicely. Like the timeline relationship between Twilight Princess and Wind Waker is also very cool. But when you just start trying to like string all the games together, it does, like, the strings get very frayed. They're like, you know, somehow pinned on the back of the wall. They went through the wall and they're pinned on the back of the wall, and you can't actually see the string all the way there anymore. String is an eldritch quantum entity. Let's see. Basically, that 100 years were at least 20 different timelines. Oh yeah, right. Oh, okay. And that's Elder Scrolls, okay. That 100 years where at least 20 different timelines existed, and at one point every timeline came back together. Yeah. I think it's funny, my two favorite Zelda games are the most opposite in tone. Majora's Mask and Wind Waker. I feel like it's common for the Majora Mask likers to like Wind Waker too. Like, you like that the game is talking about something other than like here's a hero's journey, right? And like the bad guys in both are like kind of a little bit sad or extremely sad in Majora's Mask's case. I love Majora's Mask as my favorite Zelda console, and I totally dislike Wind Waker. But the WW story is cool. Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah. And I guess both games are colorful, for sure, yes. And yeah, there's some, like... Their stories are more similar to each other than either of them are to Ocarina of Time, I would say. And yeah, Wind Waker kind of plays with mechanics in an interesting way, in the same way Wind Waker does. Ocarina of Time is just a very straight-up game. Straight-up, front-to-back linear game. The whole Zelda games never really, had never really held your interest. That's fair. That's fair. People like different things in games. My favorite game is Legend of Mana, which I don't even, some of you probably wouldn't even think is a good game. You're like, what is this? I would think. It's a very common reaction to Legend of Mana. But maybe not here. Because if you're here in my D&D tabletop RPG-centric channel, you might play that game and go like, oh, this is like a D&D campaign. Oh, we're in like Side Quest City. We're exploring a bunch of other people's stories. Huh. I played it once. I was forced to. People who love that game really love it. We do trying to make other people try it out and like the game. Link to the Past is a close to the top 2. Yeah, likewise. I love Link to the Past. Yeah, I do like when the Link is very invested and like has a bit of personality and isn't super generic. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Agreed. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so much news. I'm getting so many work updates. Found out I got a new contract job to jump on. Got an email about that an hour ago. Got a message about music stuff. Let's see. I should read this later. Little piano. Cello notes are also really nicely done. Or raising is the deeper notes, make it sound quite... Curious. I have some questions for that, for the music client. Okay. Link to the Past was the first one I played. Would have been when I was learning how to read when I first played it? Yeah. I was not totally comprehending the story my first time I played Link to the Past, but it still held so much of my attention. I got stuck though. I got stuck and I focused more on, I got Link to the Past and Super Metroid at the same time, and I bounced back and forth between those games so much as a kid. Great games to be like, here's your first couple of games. Right. Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X shared timeline thing is very interesting to me. Okay, I think I am done with my session sheet here. We could outline some more scenes. I should get the first bit. I should get the first bit of the outer arcs ready to go. There's gonna be like a encounter there a bit. What are we sitting at? Sitting about an hour and a half into the stream. Okay. I think we'll start doing the map stuff after I take my break. For now, let's review a little bit. This is gonna look a bit like a mess. Not sequencer. Where's levels? Okay. Oh yeah, I have like full on mini cutscenes here that I need to do. So they already fought an Algolthu. So I think we're not going to include that. Didn't have the words for it when I was that young, but it really was the first time I felt awe and really understood how beautiful games could be. The intro rain sequence really struck a chord with me. Yeah. The rainy part of that game is excellent. The whole intro to that game is very, very good. Very well done. Same with Super Metroid, not to change it completely, but just like, again, kind of the rainy outside when you like land on the planet and you're like starting to dive into the very outer layer of Zebes, and it's just like totally lonely and mysterious, completely abandoned as you're like taking your first couple steps into that game. Well, after the bombastic intro. That game gave me a taste for like melancholy settings and like kind of a, I don't know, kind of like an embrace of like feeling of loneliness, that kind of thing. Love, love, love Super Metroid. So this is, like I said, kind of the outer map that we have started to put together. This leads off to a boss room that they may encounter before they know why there's a boss there. I was thinking I want to add perhaps like a side room over this way somewhere, so we might do that in the original map. But we don't really have to worry about that yet. We don't have to worry about anything down here yet, but this Algolthu is definitely not going to be part of it. Probably not going to be part of it. Because I think we kind of played out the Algolthu. Party's going to start all the way up top. We, as the GM, are blessed with this horrific stacked view of everything. But if you're a player, you only see it like up here, right? So they're going to walk in here. Might be a very cramped, very tight fight with like the... Maybe I'll even do the fight in another... I was thinking about having a ghost Minotaur, a ghost follower of Vezgal, to kind of like square off against Turkon and the rest of the party and start kicking people into this hole here. But I might just do a separate encounter for that. This is actually like a... like it starts to slide down toward this spot. So there's a bit of a risk of someone kind of like stumbling down there and like sliding and falling all the way down this river. Or down into this river, 40 feet below. 80 feet below? 80 feet below, gosh dang. And this is all... The Arx is over here. The keep that they're going into is over here. And this is all kind of the antechamber. This is like the caves outside of it. And it's all stacked up upon this, like, canyon. This, canyon's not the right word, but this, I don't know, this path that the water has cut through this cave system. So we have, like, a waterfall over here that pours down into the bottom. And then the players can kind of climb this broken stairway up into this chamber to get back up here. And this terminates at this, like, busted up, kind of collapsed area. I think that's a good idea. I think we will have, like, a separate room down here that they can get into all the way at the bottom. Where they can find out some information, kind of a... Like I said, just a listening post, just a separate utility building where they'll find like a console that has some old information that we can play around with. Might have these temporal manifestations attack the party still. These are like lower level, right? Yeah, level 6 and stuff. Oh, there's this kind of cool blending effect, by the way, when you click... when you're like looking down at lower levels when you have a token selected. It's not there when you're in GM view, but it's kind of cool. Very much like Foundry and levels. A game that made me cry the most was easily Mother 3. The game was so devastatingly sad, but also some of the best art I've ever enjoyed. Games that make me cry tend to be like things that make me cry tend to be like catharsis and like not sadness so much. Final Fantasy XIV has my number for it. Just like delight and comfort and relief, and it hits certain notes that just like get me to weep. And the other thing, the other bit of media that hit me with that first was Inside Out at the very, very end. Not any of the sad shit, but like when everything is resolved and the kid just starts like is reunited with the parents and just starts like crying. Yeah. Zelda Tape 3. Chill Lo-Fi? We'll keep jamming to these. Story about grief. Got it. Got it. I don't think it's masochistic to play games to engage with media that makes us cry necessarily. I don't think that's a masochist thing. Typically, you're not necessarily crying because it's painful. Okay, I think I am going to take my break real quick, and then we'll get on toward messing with the map. Wholeheartedly recommend getting the fan-translated version of Mother 3. I do want to play it sometime. I do. I do think it'll kill me a bit, but... Okay, I'm gonna go take my break quick, and we'll be back. We'll, like I said, work on this map a little bit. Probably for another couple of hours, and then I gotta go get dinner in about pretty much 2 hours even. So we got, we'll have an assignment. We'll have a 2-hour assignment to get some work done on that map. I'm back. And sorry, Aki, I just spaced responding to what you were talking about? Jesus. You went to bed at 4 a.m. and you were factory making. You finished. When you woke up, went to the other factories to set them up better. And looking at the work from 4 a.m., you have no idea what you're looking at. I can believe that. I can believe that in like a factory-like game. I end up feeling like that in just like not even automation games. Just like other games, I'll come back and I'll be like, what was I doing? What was I working on? What was the plan here? It's very interesting. Okay. So I should just keep roughing out the big ideas in this map, I think. Of which there's kind of a ruined keep here. And that's going to be one of the big things. I guess we use this kind of castle wall stuff around the edge. That worked really well. And you know it's got to be pretty symmetrical. So this is like 2... this might end up being really small. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes over from the one tower. So it'd be like that. And it'd be up a little. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks about right. Five, 6, 7, 8, 10. It's 10 by 10 square? So that is 50 by 50 feet? I suppose it doesn't necessarily have to be a square. It could be longer. Oh my gosh. Good gosh dang. Put up the wall first. And I might do a path instead because this is... Oh, I don't know. I may or may not end up deleting this bit. And this pattern is definitely getting deleted. Let's do this below water just in case. Oh no. How do I? Oh no. There we go. I can't zoom out while I'm drawing this. Okay. Four, 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So like there. We'll see. We're gonna, but most of this, a ton of this is gonna be buried in rubble. So these walls are not. Okay. Kind of just need to redo the walls. Shoot. Do something like this. We're on the grid, right? Yes. Okay. Oh, I just realized these should be like joined, but I don't think there's a great way to do that necessarily. Object info. Merge walls. Hell yeah. We did it. Okay. Nope. Nope, not edit points. Click, select, hello. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Sick. Okay. I was going to use the path tool, but that seems, it's like, we'll get another stone wall texture in here. We'll just throw it in. But I think that's actually like super dumb. Super bad idea. Compared to just throwing a texture in. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's perfect. Who am I to say? It certainly shouldn't be smooth, though. Heck. Maybe it's not gonna work. Suppose I could do something like this. Yeah, that could work. It should still be a bit wider, like 2.2. Okay. We'll have to do some blending tricks here, I think, but... Is it a... Let me see real quick. The select tool... I'm gonna save this. I'm getting some crashy vibes when the select tool just, like, ain't selecting. Okay. Filters all. Actually, no. Not correct. Patterns. No. Let me try a path. Grab one of these. Width, block light, don't really care. Tint color, don't really care. Opacity, don't care. Path color, don't care. I do kind of want all these to be on a lower layer, but it's fine. No transition in, no transition out. I think it is like textures. Textures I can blend? Edge blur, yes. Okay, so I can do it for textures. Can I do it for objects? Shadow, block, light. You can change an object to a pattern. Okay, okay. That'll do. So even though I can't blur on an object, I can change it to a pattern and blur it there. Okay. Okay. I don't have that option for walls, right? Or not walls. For paths. Make prefab. Can't turn it into a texture. Okay. Okay. Cool. Let me just see. I don't think I have like wall textures in here. Like that kind of cobblestone texture is not here. Kinda. We do have some cool diagonal tile textures. Okay. A lot of cool textures in here, actually. This is almost kind of that cobblestone. Almost, but not quite. I kind of wish there was a good big rubble texture. There's just kind of like, I can like overlay this with rocks. Which might be good. Except even that gets like repetitive. I need some noise. I need to add some noise to these textures so they're not just like repeated over and over. I guess that's what the objects are for. Boy. This with a bit of a blur could be good. Oh, and I can... Okay. Oops. I forgot how you curve things. Is it shift? Cool. Now we can edge blur this. We can make it directional. I wish there was a better interface than... Wish there was a better interface for direction, but it's fine. Then a degrees. Hold on. Oh, this is kind of working. Looks like it needs to be a little bit bigger. I go like, oopsies. Whoopsies. That's not, oh no. Okay, it's fine. I think I can, so I just have to go back to edit the points. Okay. We're learning live. Oh god, it doesn't edit the whole curve. That's kind of fine with the blending, actually. This song went in a place I wasn't expecting. Okay. Holy moly. Remember when I was like, we're gonna rough out the big bits? Then we spent all our time on this. Okay. Let's find some big. Ew. I do need stairs. Those are very good self-contained stairs. I was a little tempted to use one of those cellar door ones. But this is not where we put the stairs. We put the stairs one level down. Okay, so I gotta figure that out. Decorating this room is going to be a pain in the butt. Maybe I might leave this light on decorations, but I do think there's going to be like a cutout spot where there were stairs down. It wouldn't just be a gap in the floor necessarily, like it was out here. And it likely would not be right where the big door was. Okay. So probably like back here-ish. Stairs are... The other hallway is basically right around there, so we'll probably do the stairs kind of like back here. Not edit points. Yeah, something like this. I think the stairs will be reasonably big. Go to the thresholds that are too wide down here. 3 wide, actually. Wherever those exist. Isn't it these? Yeah, kinda. Oh, God. It's just slightly off enough to make me mad, isn't it? In it. Let's take it off the snap. Put it like right, maybe just a little into that wall. Yeah, that's good enough. This wall is too wide. The walls are always too wide for the... Whatever, it's fine. Okay, let's go to the pattern shape tool. We won't worry about it yet. So we'll put this here. Nope, snapping back on. That there. Oh, is this between? Doesn't matter. Oh, criminy. I gotta do it for the grass too. Okay. What'd I just do? We're gonna do something like this. Brain's breaking. Okay. Drag this over here, right? We're getting our gap in place. Ba-doomp. Ba-doop. Ba-doop. I actually don't want to... We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It's fine. We don't need grass on the inside. It's fine. And then we sew it back up. And then we sew it back up. Cool. Cool. Got him. So this is a gap down to the lower floor, and we'll work on that next, question mark? We've got a lot of decoration to do up here, but that's, we don't actually need that to run the game whenever we get here, so we'll do that last. Maris, do you need a door for him to run the game? You need a pond? Yes. Compare levels. Yay, so give me the courtyard. So we know there's stairs coming down here. So whatever else is going on, we know there are stairs here. We'll probably use these same... Oh boy. Will we though? Will we use these same stairs? I'm remembering that perhaps these stairs are obnoxious to use. Filter objects, not patterns. Okay, let's see. Grab them all. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. I spun them. These ones I can spin. That's fine. Holy moly. Gonna shit. Okay. It definitely needs to be like there-ish. But a little more. Oh no, I'm on snapping. Okay. We just need the middle of these stairs to be right on that line. Sick. I think that's all we need, actually. Is it tilted? No, I'm just... It is now! Okay. Good enough? Okay. All right, okay, all right. And then here is going to be a big deal room. Let's see. This is where like the command center of the whole thing is going to be. I actually don't even really need a preview anymore. Maybe? Oh yeah, no, that's about right. I could move the stairs up. I can move the stairs up. Something like that. Okay. Alrighty. Uh-oh. Just realizing a thing. Oh, no, it's... I used the gray one here. Okay, we're fine. Maybe not outside hallway. We'll use the smaller version of that wall. That sounds nice. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Eight by 1. It's a little more zigzaggy, though. So that's not my favorite. That isn't my favorite. It's just gotta come up with a different... option. That's huge. That's enormous. Goddamn... Is it fine? Why don't I have the option to... Oh, there's the bevel. Oh my goodness. Not certain. Not certain how I feel about this one. Interesting. I've had an interesting realization. Okay. So this is where the room starts, actually. Stairs suck? Symmetry sucks, is actually the... Count 5. Is this only 40 by 40 down here? I guess so. Is this actually going to be the size of the room? I'm not sure. I might go out a block on either side. Maybe I'll make the tile in here different instead of this blue fire tile. Okay. There's definitely stairs here that go down to the next level, and probably same over here. But we'll figure that out once we have the next level sort of set up. I think no space is wasted on this level. I think there's this external hallway that is locked off from like an internal hallway. That's going to be like a 10-foot wide thing that goes around this. And then the rest is going to be like rooms. Oh, other than I need a window here. This needs to be a window down below. So there's that. I'm actually gonna make it all windows along this outside hall. I'm gonna have like rocks out here, I think. I'm burying myself in decoration options. Good lord. Okay. I need some rooms here. I think I have some notes for the arcs, but I'm just gonna start a new thing. Do I need it right now? Let's finish this room first before we start flying all over the place, huh? Guys, let's relax. Stop getting ahead of ourselves. I always have to pull you guys back to get you guys to stop looking at the big picture. Finish what we're working on right now, guys. Ooh, I like these for this room, these stone square tiles. Also, I always love making these places just super dark so you can't ever tell what's going on. Why is it so... Oh, because it's blurred. Oh, that's sick. I don't want to do that, though. But it's sick. But I don't want to do that, though. I do need to have some shadows going on here eventually. What does this one look like? Holy moly. It's very bright. I have piles of wood debris, but not piles of rock debris. I probably have piles of rock debris, too. I probably do. I like this one the most. We gotta dye it a little bit. Might be a bit much. Well. No, the blue doesn't make any sense. That does a pretty okay job of dulling this out. How do we... So, all right, color theory. How do we counteract yellow to make it look more gray? Yellow is like... what's on the opposite of yellow? Like over here? Let's make it a little bit this. Kind of made it just look purple. Bluish, yeah. It's kind of doing it. Okay. It's doing it good enough for my purposes. Okay. Back to a bit of surgery here. Where is this? 20... Yeah. 2 out. Oh, heck. It's 3 in, 3 in, 3 in. So 3 in from 15 is 18. I broke it. I break it up here. What's going on? Oh, it's the wrong side. No, it's not. What have I done? Okay, we need to maybe be less perfect with our points for a minute. We'll sew it up at the end, right? So this should be like, oh. Okay, 18, 18. This should be over one more. Ba-doop, ba-doop. And now we can sew it up. Cool. Now it should be right on the lines. I kind of just want to make this a little less, you know? Patterns, cool. Click this one. Color. What? Oh no. What do you mean? Turning edge blur on got rid of the tint. What do you mean that did that? That's wild. Gonna lay down for a bit. If I don't make it back, hope you have get some good progress. Talk later. Sounds good, Aki. Catch you later. Have a good rest. I am sure that we will. Probably. What do we got? Got an hour left. Got an hour left. Plenty of time to make grand progress. I'll catch you later. Thank you for hanging out for a bit, and I hope your rest is good. I just fully slammed my ankle into my chair. Whew. Okay. Let's put some objects down before we worry too much more about patterns. I need crystals. Singular. Not purple ones. It either needs to be blue or red, I think. Maybe blue with some red stuff going on, you know? Actually, so blue's just gonna be up here. Let's... Ooh, what are those? Aqueduct grates. That could help us greatly in our own efforts here. Oh my god, these are gonna be great. I'm glad we looked a little. These are gonna be very useful. A little scared of these tiny floor joint things. I think I'll fuck those up real good, but... These will be very pretty. Okay, I like these a lot. These are going to be very helpful. Ooh, I like these too. It does just kind of look like they're... It kind of works. It kind of works. Okay, we'll keep that there. Not that one for sure. Yo. Train cars full of crystal coal. Pretty sick. Okay. I like the stuff down here. I suppose I could do these like wider ones on the side. They stack nicely, so we could just kind of do that. What does it look like rotated this way, actually? I do like that better. Okay. All right. It's going great. This is going great. That is just very obviously the same one. What do I mirror again? A is mirror. Okay. How big is this one? This is 1x1. This is 3x3. We're looking for 3x3 options. Or bigger. We can scale some of these up, though. Okay. That was almost a little too big. Maybe that one. Oh, that'll work. Let's take snapping off. It is kind of a shame that the red crystal is like very nice and crisp and this is like blurry. I guess it'll all be a little... They're going to be looking at it at like this zoomed out and exporting it's going to blur it all just a little bit, so... Still... Let me... Okay, first of all, this one should not have a shadow. And then let me play with... turning it into a pattern. Now I gotta go select it as a pattern. Oops. Don't really think so. Okay, I think I liked it better as an object. Oh, fuck. What in the world are you talking about? Okay, I gotta go put it back down. Okay, this does have a shadow on it. It's just not showing up on the object so much, but that's okay. I should almost make this an octagon, which is that's a huge pain in the butt thing to do now, but oops. Oh, except I can't make it one on that side, can I? Well, not very easily, anyway. Okay. Okay, not in any way that's worth it. So we'll just undo all these. That's such a shame. Like, I would love for this room to be like an octagon, but whatever. Gosh dang stairs. Gosh dang stairs, man. Right? Right? It doesn't make sense, right? Be like there. It so almost works. I'm gonna do it. Very glad that I'm gonna have to do this with all the patterns too. I'm so happy. Nope. What the fuck? Okay. All right. What do you mean? There. That's what I mean. All right, that's fine. The undo button in this program can be a little much, dude. Great. Just not gonna worry about fixing it until these are all done. Okay, then we grab this. Nope. Send that to front? Send it back? Send it front? What's going on? We love Dungeon Draft. Yeah! You don't have any, never have any vomit-inducing issues with this program. I do love Dungeon Draft. It actually is fantastic. However, something is freaking me out here. So I'm getting a little wigged out on my suddenly invisible texture. What has happened? What has happened? No, I do love this program. It is so much better than the others. It is. Okay. So this texture, it is this texture we're using. Blur is off. Color is... That's not correct, however. Oh boy. Check the level. It is below water, but like this is a see-through background at the moment. Stand by. Oops. Oh, before I do that, let me make sure it's on a grid. How you doing, Vez? Other than show it up when I'm having an existential mapping crisis. Yeah. Okay. I turned it inside out is what happened. I don't know how editing the points on the outside did that, but it is what happened. All right. So we'll just drag it back in here. And we'll try to stitch it closed without breaking it again. We'll try to complete the surgery. Okay. So that point is there. Did I get rid of some points? It's fine. Doesn't matter. Drag this over here. Bring this up here. Bring this up here. Bring this over here. Boot. Oh no! It was working. It did let me before. Okay. I think I see how I'm gonna do this. We'll just turn snapping off and we'll just do that. All right, cool. It's just these 2 points being directly on top of each other is not They don't like that. That's fine. Or they decided not to like it. Worked at first, and then they decided not to like it after I added several more points. That's fine. All right, so the sane way to do this for anyone else, cut it in half. Just have two pieces. Just have a left side and a right side. You don't need to cut out the middle like I'm doing. Ooh, I was using this to make ships to print off for our nautical campaign. Very nice. I like how flexible it is, how it can be used for so many things. It doesn't look like it, but I'm actually making a ship with it right now. I'm making a floating castle spaceship. Is how this is turning out. It's gonna be, I would say it's gonna have 4 layers, but it's gonna have 3 layers in a boss room below it that's a cave. But yeah. At the same time, I don't totally get how the whole lighting thing works. I don't do any lighting in here. Oh my god, speaking of. I've lost the color that we dyed this. It was like here, it was like there-ish. It was like a little less alpha. But not like totally gone. I was trying to make it kind of gray by countering the yellow in it, and that's not totally failing, but it's not totally working either. That'll do. That looks good enough. Yeah, I don't do any lighting stuff in Dungeon Draft. I set up lighting. Use it for VTT stuff, but it's a super nice tool for easy printing. That makes sense. Yeah, I love how it has like the low contrast printing modes. Not that I've ever used them to love them, but I love that they exist. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience doing lighting stuff in it or printing out. Yeah, I do a ton of stuff with transparency for, like, there's this transparency, but I also, like, these stairs up and stuff, I'm gonna set them up to be multiple levels in Foundry, so they'll be able to, like, see down. You can kind of see it when I have the preview on, but they'll be able to see down in this kind of, like, empty spot here to the levels below. For the programmable LED lights behind you to go off. I do, it's true. For an alert or something, yeah. I do wanna, I have like some lights that are still over in my old angle, my old camera angle, that I want to set up behind me, along with art and stuff, since it's a little sparse back there, but yeah. How did the fade on this get turned around? I'm using too many fancy tools. I guess there's still some fading going on over here, but there's some going on here too, and I don't like that. The final polishing phase for this map is going to be a nightmare. Especially since I know this whole pattern I have also chopped and surgically inserted an enormous donut into. Where'd the cool crystal come from? I believe the crystal is... I have two big Dungeon Draft asset creators that I use. One is Tom Kartos. I can't tell, actually. It actually doesn't say on the name. It's either Tom Kartos or Forgotten Adventures, though. Those are both excellent creators of Dungeon Draft assets. I don't know. I don't know which asset pack this is. Artificial assets, building assets, floors, modular assets, natural assets? I don't know. Hard to say. Can I see? I may be able to tell you. Oh yeah, this one's Forgotten Adventures. So they both have Patreons. It's kind of that situation where you sub once to the Patreon, you get access to the post with like the dungeon draft assets. You can pull them all down, use them for forever. So you don't have to like stay subbed to have access to their assets. You just get the monthly updates if you stay subbed. And you can like sub once, take a break, sub again the next year. Yeah. I know that not these walls, but like these walls I'm using up here, like these outer wall segments and the middle filling bit. Those are both Tom Kartos. And so is this. So are these towers and these outer walls. And maybe the grass. Okay. I don't know where the stairs are going to be yet, but let's go ahead and make the hangar bays so I can fill in everything else a little bit faster. Use the big walls for that. Okay. Turn snapping back on. Probably from like here to here. That's what? Yeah. 10 squares wide, 50 feet wide. That's pretty big for a hangar. I'm gonna do kind of the same thing back here. Go up to 11. There'll probably be stairs coming out like right here from the hallway. That's gonna go like around this guy. Different flooring down there too, probably. Could go for the hexagons. Yeah, gray feels like more their style. Okay. This one's going to be all damaged and stuff on the top side. They're only going to have one working hangar when they inherit this castle. So let's just... Filtered to objects already. Cool, cool, cool. I think you can copy-paste stuff between floors, right? Right? Right. Right? Excellent. Yes, we can. Turn off snapping. Something about these the way these stairs are designed just looks totally like they're always at an angle, but I think they're not. They totally look like they are. Oh, that's kind of going up too. That's going up too far. We'll spill it into the room a little bit. We'll put it like right there. Check the lineup again. Looks good enough to me. Oh, we'll nudge it over just a smidge, right? Actually, I'm splitting pixels here for sure. And it's gonna get covered by a wall for sure. Okay, it's fine. Oopsies. Edit points is what I'm trying to do. That looks pretty good. Pretty easy. All right, 666. You do have to terminate this with a bit of railing or something, but whatever. Probably do just have railing objects, huh? Maybe. I'm getting a lot of train railing and stuff, which is not quite what we're looking for. Fences. That looks good enough. In an excellent way, to avoid having to do any, well, I guess, you know, we're gonna do the work anyway. Well, we know that these are gonna go, well, we've got them. Like half a thing into the room on both sides. Cool, cool. Flip this around. Turn snapping off. It's like right about there. That's about right. And then wall, and then edit points, and then put a point. Put snapping back on, put a point there, put a point there, put a point there, put a point there. Okay, we're zoom in-ish. And then ruin it with rubble. Oh, everything's at 1. I'm accidentally doing everything at 1.5 scale right now, but it worked great for the railing, so that's fine. Okay. I guess I can turn off snapping. I guess I'm capable of lining this up myself. I guess. Am I? Am I really? I don't know if I am. Now that I'm doing it. I don't know if that's true. Okay, cool. We need some wrecked machinery. Some bent metal. Bigger than that. Tossing vague metal bits in here. Maybe not a safe door. I need some of these doors up top, actually. Let's go do that while we got him. Boop boop. Where'd they go? Well, I suppose we could do this. I'll just mirror it. Okay. Cool. Can't believe I switched. It just broke my search when I switched floors. That's wild. Okay. This is looking pretty all right. Let's see. Ooh. This could be cool. Can we turn snapping on? Get this like... Does look a bit like a dude. Like it looks a bit like a dwarf wearing a helmet now that I look at it. Suppose if I do like that, it's fine. Okay. Do we do like a rusted busted one up here? I guess. Probably. Probably. Oh, it was all the way at the front. So... let's do a silver one under there. Nah, it doesn't really show through. I don't really care. I'm probably going to use an external token for the vehicle that's going to be in here. So I can move that around and put it on other maps and stuff as needed. So we'll worry about that later. I don't think I'm going to use these statue heads. Could be cool. I'm not going to do it. Should remember those are there. What are these called? Wall head. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's like I've never seen those when I search for statues or when I search for gargoyles, but I would love to have them sometimes. They're dwarf heads again. Hidden. Hidden in plain sight. Okay. I a little bit want to turn snapping off to line this up right. It's not that hard to line up, right? This one's easy enough, right? We just put it... Just get this diamond right in the middle of those dots. See a little bit of the outline in the back. Heck. Okay, like a little bit more. There. Cool. We're like tool racks and stuff, and I think we want those. So I get these sick chairs, throne leather, black metal. Okay. We're gonna come back to those thrones very quickly, I think. These aren't exactly like tool racks. I'll grab this hammer one. Turn shadow on. Oh, good. Torment masks. Ah, we're in the torture section. 66666. Okay. There's gonna be some... Oh, 6 saxophones. There's gonna be some pulleys and winches and stuff in here. The players have seen kind of like hangars, maintenance bays of the 4 before. We'll have a bit of that in here. Back to the grates. That's great. We're gonna put these curtain rods to good use. Oh, let's do these under. Love the dice icons and stuff. Okay. Okay, I don't think there's much up here. Okay, tools. I do wish these weren't on wooden racks. That is not very 4 coded. That's okay. We'll pull this out for now because that is an excellent one. Oh, that's still very clearly wood, even tinted. Okay. It's a book press? Okay. Can I clear the tint? Okay. Okay. I am fairly satisfied with these. Let's see. I think we're getting rid of this hammer rack and putting the other one back there. Would still love, I would love this exact same tool set on a metal shelf. which is very nitpicky. It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. Welcome back, Aki. Hope the rest was good. We are making pretty good progress, I would say. I was thinking it would be incredibly fun to use VTT maps like these and existing tabletop systems to get a robust BattleTech RP in and out of the cockpit. That would be rad. I do think all my experience with virtual tabletops definitely makes me want to play like miniatures games and stuff like on a VTT and not spending hundreds of dollars on an army. You know, that's a little bit like, you know. Perhaps a little sacrilegious to say that I would like to play tabletop war games without having to buy a whole ass army for it and invest hundreds of dollars. But we'll actually put these on the upper floor, the cranes and stuff. So they see them when they're looking in, but they're not going to be like on the floor and cluttering up the space down here. Finishes are fun. There's a reason there's that VTT system that occupied, that cropped up that was basically just minis and for a long time had no actual system for games. Yeah. Yeah, I do recall. I do recall that. I don't think we necessarily need any more decoration down here. I do need to figure out what I'm doing with these tools. Yeah, nothing else comes to mind. Whoa. Neat. Okay. We're filtering to objects. Yes, we are. We'll get rid of this. We'll move this over here. We are once again trying to tint this in such a way that it turns a little bit gray on the wooden parts. Tricky. That is simply very purple. I could just remove the color. Sick. Why did that remove? It did not remove the purple. What the? You could always make the rack. What torture device are we putting in? The rack? The comfy chair? in In this case, this is simply a machine shop. However, an ox-powered rack does sound tremendously awful. That's a bit too dark on that one. It's a bit too dark on both of them. We'll just call it good on this color. Okay. And then one level up with compare on, please. We're actually trying to compare to this level. Okay. One man's machine shop is another man's dungeon. There's a great line in Boardwalk Empire about carpenter's tools. Yeah. Yeah. That checks out. There were so many good cranes that aren't in this search somehow. We only have these wooden ones. Oh, I guess we've got these boys. Which are also wood, but they're like... There's some plausible deniability with these ones. How, like, shiny they are. Oh, these ones are specific... They're, like, explicitly metal. Okay, cool. These can go under... Let's do, like, some rail and stuff. Let's, actually, hold on. We're gonna put in some wall here. Oh, wait. It's like there and there. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Object tool, could be the rail stuff. These ones we'll put over. Isn't exactly... Can we do, like, scaffold? Nope. Am I spelling scaffold right? I am. Try scaffolding. Okay. Yeah, that is that's what I had in there. We don't have any scaffold available, however. Let's try track. Track is all right. Toy train track? It's tiny. Excellent. So what I want are these metal rails without the tracks, actually. So track is a bad search. Oh, here we go. The library, yeah, it can be a little bit, yeah. The fuzzy search gets so funny if you have it on just, like, super fuzzy. Like, I'm getting stuff for track right now, or for rack when I'm searching for track, which is understandable, but still a little funny. Okay. These, like, busted up rails are definitely what I want. We don't have a ton of options. Rug, nothing. Carpet, nothing. Sheet. Yeah. I might be setting myself up for failure on that one, but we'll see. These are cranes, yes. Yes, indeed. Oh, this is the one I wanted, okay. This is like a vehicle maintenance bay. Your asset packs have rail paths. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I should check that. And where was that end stop one? Yeah, it's probably good enough. Maybe I want tracks going up. I don't know. We'll see. Let's check the pads first, and I'll think about that later. Oh. Search railgate entrails. Fleshy peach brain path. 668. Oh, I do have railing. I could just do two of those. Yeah, that ain't a bad idea. They can curve, yes. Yeah, that is helpful. Let's see. I'm gonna turn off snapping to under mine user layer. Oh geez. Okay, below ground. Switching tools throws me off so hard sometimes. Oh, we're at double width here. I don't really want that necessarily. Okay. One looks so much longer. Oh, it is. That's fine. Doesn't need to be perfectly parallel. That's fine. Kind of. Ooh, that's too shiny. Too shiny. Try this one. Too shiny. Okay. Oh my god. I do have train track. It is very shiny compared to the other train track, so that's a bit of a shame. I do kind of think these rolling ladder rails might be the best. Well, maybe not the best option. What were these? Yeah, these can work too. Okay. That is certainly not the same width. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be better than that. So, call it like here-ish. That looks close enough for me. Okay. Up a little. Good enough. Maybe these should cross? I don't care. I don't care. All right. So, as they're coming by here, they're going to be able to see into this. If they come by here, they might not ever see this. They'll be able to see all these like tracks and stuff. They'll be able to see down into the hangar bay below. Yeah, that's what's going on here. In case anyone was like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And in Foundry, with the mods we have installed, Foundry's gonna be off. Never mind. It's gonna blur the first floor as they're up here. Man. All right, we've made good progress. But man, I need to get a lot done by like next week. So we'll be back. Today I gotta go get food. Another kind of shorty stream. I would like to go a bit longer, but I'm on a mission to get mundane fast food before a place closes with a coupon that expires today. So that's why that's why I'm cheating you guys out of a bit of a longer stream. But thank you for hanging out. We are trying to do this GM prep thing regularly again. Usually on Sundays. I like to give myself a little more time before the session, since we will be playing tomorrow. We do play on Wednesdays. So usually I'm trying to get up Sunday morning, do a little bit of prep. Sunday I was busy this week. So that's kind of the schedule at the moment. It's like Sunday is GM prep, Monday is music, Wednesday is the game. And that's kind of what we got going on right now. So if you guys want to see not the dungeon we've been working on. Thank you, Aki. I appreciate that. I will definitely enjoy my mundane, my coupon. I will enjoy the act of spending the coupon. If not the food itself. I forgot what I was saying. So tomorrow we'll be starting this dungeon. We'll be on the exterior of this. We'll be kind of like off in the caves that we were looking at earlier. Maybe. We might not even get there. So we'll see how it goes. I hope you all have a wonderful... Continue to have a wonderful start of your week, and the rest of your week goes well. And I'll see you all again real soon. Goodbye.